And welcome back to the Texas Underground Radar. I am your host, JVaz, and you tuned in to episode number 23. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, but before we get to that, make sure you follow us on all the social media pages. And before we introduce my co-host, I want to let you guys know we got a special guests joining us today, and we'll get to introducing him here in a second. I'm going to let my co-host do that. Never Die. What's up, man?
Hey, what's good, JVaz? Man, we got Mexican Connected here.
Hey, I need you to pronounce the X, though. Mexican Connected.
JVaz need a backup. So he called it Mexican Connected.
Hey, the reinforcements
in my culture,
are here, JVaz.
In my culture, we say Mexican.
Yeah, that's the Puerto Rican.
You're also Puerto Rican.
No, that's a Texas talking.
That's the Puerto Rican in
That's
you.
a Texas talking.
Yes, I'm going to need all my Mexicans to pronounce the X.
And we also got Typeshit Jazzi in this motherfucker.
Yay,
How you
yay.
doing? Type shit.
Hey.
So, we're here to talk about something we started, talking about on Instagram. And it got a little taken out of context and whatnot, and everybody was giving different opinions. And it was kind of my fault, because I didn't fully explain. Unless you watched the whole interview, you weren't getting the full idea of what I was trying to say. So I want to go ahead and give you guys why the conversation started to begin with. And then, we'll go from there and get everybody's perspective and points of views when it comes to the topic. So, I was chilling with my boy Crim's Crib, Hate Approved, and we were talking about how we were watching Hip Hop Evolution, which is a documentary on Netflix, and they came to Houston, and they started to talk about the hip hop culture and what made Houston culture, et cetera, et cetera. And we felt some type of way that when they said that, there was never a Hispanic mentioned. Mainly SPM, because if you know SPM, regardless of how you feel of Carlos Coy and the reason he's in jail, regardless of that, he has a lot to do with what the music culture is in Houston. He didn't get mentioned. So that brought the conversation of, the truth is because we don't have our own identity. And then he's like, for example, when you talk about the way a cholo dresses, you automatically know this guy is a cholo, he's Mexican, he's probably from Cali. The way they talk, he's probably from Cali. And he's like, in Texas, we often, and I can agree with him because growing up, I used to make fun of cholos. I never liked Mexican rap. He's like, and we make fun of them.
But Jazz, JVaz, you are freaking Mexican, though, right?
I'm 100% Mexican. Fully.
Are you first generation here?
Yes.
I wasn't even born here.
Okay.
I was born in Mexico.
Sorry,
Yeah.
be proud of shit over here.
No, I was.
Okay, keep going. We'll get back to that.
Yeah. So then he's like, we make fun of them, and fail to realize they're the only ones that have their own identity. He's like, for example, they have the homies, fucking figures that took the world by storm, and every story
Everybody
that you
buy
went,
them.
yes,
Everybody draw them.
and that will never be taken away from the Hispanic culture in Cali because Gonzalez is still alive. Hell, I just ordered the new homie fucking Funko Pops that he dropped. They dropped today, so make sure you pick them up at $49.99. No free promos, but I legit fuck with it. So yeah. So that's how the conversation started. Now, I get on Instagram and, I always clip my shit a certain way for obvious reasons to get the conversation going, which Never Die brought it to my attention. He's like, that's the reason people are getting off topic. So before I get everybody's point of view on this topic, the idea was to say we don't have our own identity, not to say stop making rap music, not to say let's stop supporting the black culture, not to say it's black versus brown or Cali versus Texas. That's not what the point is here. The point is, in 20 years from now, when they talk about Texas culture, are we going to get mentioned? No, because it goes back to what everybody's been saying. Because we are Texas culture, but we're not separating ourselves and being able to stand out from that culture.
Can I say something?
As a matter of fact, go ahead and take it away and give us your perspective and whatnot.
Why are you going to say that in 20 years it's not going to happen when 20 years ago, that's when SPM and everything was around and we're still
How come he didn't get mentioned?
Right.
And so did, when the Cali episode, did they talk about the Hispanic rappers in there?
They actually do get talked about a lot of Hispanic rappers. They play a big role.
So that show talked about them.
I didn't watch that episode, but
So
but not just that show, bro. You can watch anything.
Yeah.
and we don't get mentioned in Texas because it goes
Okay,
back
but
to.
that's the thing.
because
Who made this show?
Does
I
it
don't know.
matter
It
though?
doesn't matter.
Yes, it
We're not
does
getting our
matter.
flowers.
I don't think so because I feel like there is a lost identity with you guys. I'm gonna say you guys because I'm from California. I'm from the Bay Area. So it's different. We even have like competition between the Bay, the like South Cal and the Bay, within the Mexican community. But I will say this, like when I came down here to Texas, it was like everybody seemed like they were more like black to me. The Mexicans that were around, it was like they were throwing the N word around, and that's how they were talking to me. And I felt a little lost because where I'm from, I kind of was like a little timid. Like, yo, the big homies, I grew up around a bunch of old G's, and it was not permitted for me to even say the word like that because at that point, I'm a wannabe. And it's either like you're with them or you're with us. You a wannabe. So the big homies always taught me like I couldn't talk like that, but y'all talk like that.
Yeah,
And so
because it's a different culture here.
yeah, but it's so
it's
that we're
not
talking about the loss of
ours.
identity, right? Or not
Yes.
having an identity. So you guys are saying you guys are a melting pot, but so are we. We have a lot of Asians. We have a lot of Pacific Island people out in California. We have a lot of Caucasians, but we're all mixed in. But there's still an identity for the Mexicans.
for each.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to better explain it to you guys. I feel like the Mexicans out here get lost in translation because of the fact that I feel like you guys try to fit in more with the African American people to be correct because of the fact that it's a hip hop community. And so music wise, I feel like you guys try to fit in more with that. So
And I want to say you're correct because I've seen it where artists are more inclined to get the approval from black media as from Mexican media. Like everybody's so concerned about being on Donnie Houston that they don't care about, the Hustle Town networks and stuff like that. And I know before you say it, I know there's artists that support both of them and don't care but I'm saying if it seems as if they want that approval first. Like Donnie Houston called me the GOAT, bro. Donnie Houston said I was dope. Okay, I get it. But I don't even know.
there's not enough. I feel like there's not enough leaders in the Mexican community to begin with for people to look up to them. I'm gonna say like that.
Yes.
We have a lot of followers, not enough leaders. And as soon as somebody starts leading, it's like, oh no, like that person, like you're dragging their name in the mud. You know what I mean? It's like, why can't there be multiple leaders? Why can't we have like I can name drop a bunch of like artists that I listen to personally that have made an impact that I know from the West Coast, but from out here, it was almost offensive when I came to you guys' shows and did some of you guys' events because I didn't know some of the artists. And they're like, you don't know so-and-so? You don't know so-and-so? And I'm like, no, I don't. California's a big state too, not just Texas.
Yeah.
So when I came over here, I grew up on the West Coast. It's different, So I felt like, yes, we get off topic when it comes to the debating and when I throw in the African American community. I don't do it because I want to create separation. I do it because I want people to have more knowledge about the roots because
Yes.
I am rooted. I am the product of illegals. My parents are from over there. I'm first generation here, and they never let me forget about it. So my first language was Spanish. I tell my story to the people that like to listen because they get encouraged, But unless you listen, man, it's like whatever, people just be like, they ain't trying to hear it. But if somebody else is telling the story, they're like this. In admiration, you know what I mean? It's like, why not admire one of your own? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that is a huge problem. How is the unity in Cali?
Well, I will say this: California is divided but united. It has its pockets. You know what I mean? But one thing we have is codes, and the codes I think help save portions of it. Of course, we have the gangs, right? And y'all know where the gangs came from, right? So we do have a lot of damaging aspects but also they help keep the culture alive, you know, because of the Cortezes, like you're talking about, like something like that. People like, we relate to that. I relate to that. When I'm wearing some Cortezes, like, yeah, they know I'm not from here. Oh, like, I ain't seen, you know, Cortezes? Okay.
Man, I used to rock Cortezes all the time.
Right. Where did you see them?
From movies.
From where?
Blood in, blood out.
Cali.
From Cali, ¿verdad?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a staple,
Yeah.
right? So what's your staple?
Jordans.
Why?
No,
It's
sir.
it's-
Don't put no Jordans on me. I'm sorry. And I might get hate for this.
Go ahead.
I don't do the Jordans. I'm sorry. It's not.
I mean, neither.
Well, I
Never
mean,
bought
that's
a pair.
one person, but most people here wear Jordans.
But why though?
Because that's our culture.
That's the staple that you have put out there, right? That's
Yeah.
part of your identity, right?
Yeah.
So who is it with?
What do you mean? Who is it with? People in Texas.
People in Texas?
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead.
The blacks. No, I'm gonna. I know. Because I agree. I know what you're saying because I understand the whole thing of okay, we do need an identity. And I get where you're coming from of like, yes, this is Texas culture because yes, this is Texas culture, but it is the fact of we don't really have that as Mexicans, as any Latin, Hispanic, whatever. We don't have that around here because the aspect that they put Houston, San Antonio, any city in Texas, it all comes from that, the screwed up that, but it's all black based. It's all African American based. It's not, we don't have that unless we're like an actual, okay, I make Tejano music. Then you know I'm from here. Then you know that, you know what I'm saying? But as far as hip hop wise, we don't have that. There's nothing that stamps us like that. At least I don't feel like that. Whenever I started coming out and popping into the music scene, I did go to a lot of black African American based shows. But when I started, you know, networking and going to different like example that like I was talking to you about earlier with Latin hip hop, I loved that. Whenever I discovered what Latin hip hop was and all that, I was like, this is a
Shout
start.
out to them.
Yes, no, shout out to them. Shout out to Latin
them.
hip hop. But this is the type of things that we need, and I feel like as a people, we need to figure out a way to where we can stand, but we can still be blended with everyone. Because I feel like we can. It is a big melting pot. We need to be together. We need to be united, especially minorities. You know, and all minorities, we do need to be united. But as the fact of like us not having our own identity, I totally
Like, how do we
agree.
stand out?
That's my thing.
I mean, they're saying there's people like Bo Bundy. Bo Bundy does a great job.
But have you listened to Bo Bundy's music?
Right. Do you understand it?
Do you listen to Bo Bundy's music?
Have you taken the time, or do you just see it because
Because
he has clout?
one of my biggest props to Bo Bundy is that Bo Bundy came out here and created his own lane when he started putting down for the Cuz. That's what blew him up. And even he admits it, like, bro, if it weren't for the Cuz, there wouldn't be Bo Bundy.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So even though he raps, because a lot of people are saying, well, do you want us to stop rapping? And that's not the point here. The point is, we get it. We love hip hop, right? And we understand hip hop doesn't belong to us, but we love it and want to be a part of it. And that's totally fine. That's fine. Look at Eminem. He's white. But he's such a big part of hip hop because he didn't care that, well, Detroit rappers sound like this, so I'm going to sound like that too.
But
no,
Phil,
he created his own lane.
JVaz, I feel like it's not that it doesn't belong to us, because I feel like we had a part in it too. At least where I'm from in California, we had break dancers, poppers, you know, like
the b-boy.
when we
I mean,
were.
Yeah, so how is that not
yeah.
our culture?
No,
Because
I'm
we
talking
were
about
there.
California.
Well, we're not
Okay,
saying
yeah,
we're
I'm
not
talking
saying
about
we're not
Texas.
saying
Yeah.
hip hop is not our culture. What we're saying is the way we act here in Texas is not our culture. We don't represent our culture. We're representing Texas because we grew up in
Fat
Texas.
Joe and Big Pun and everybody in New York, they acted like a whole different culture.
Bro, but you're
actually-
comparing yourself to some legends that were actually able to stand out. And that's what I'm trying to say. Find your identity so that you can stand out. And when they
yes.
talk about hip hop, they're like, but he was a land artist.
Y'all want to make music and then throw the N-word around and get validation from the African Americans, but you want the support of the Mexicans and the Latino community. How? Because a person like me, I don't relate to that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I understand it. Like, I went to HBCU, so I don't have anything against the African American community. You know,
because this is nothing against them.
No, it's not.
It's about
It's about us.
How do we
It's
stand
about
out?
us.
How do we stand out in this melting pot?
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is like the media, like you said about the Netflix show. They didn't talk about us, and then y'all were gonna do a whole documentary about Texas rap and Latinos and where it started and all that. What happened to it?
Oh, the other person that was helping me ditched out.
Hey, but I'm here.
So that's things.
I'm
so that's
here.
things,
You know what I mean? I'm here to help. Hey, sub out.
That's things
sub
that
in.
didn't get
You know
done.
what I mean?
That's things that didn't get done.
But
So who's representing for the culture? And
I am.
Who's staying?
I am. I just threw a huge party for September 16th.
Okay, and we just talked
Mexican
about
Independence Day.
talked about Bo Bundy. And y'all tried
was
to
he not
discredit
on my
him.
show?
Yes, but
Was
y'all
he-
tried to discredit
Hold
him.
on,
Like it wasn't culture.
How do we discredit him?
Because I just said he had his own. He's
No, he has
giving
his own
culture.
lane.
Yeah.
He created his own lane.
He
That's what we
created-
want
how-
artists to do.
Yeah, he said we. Hold on, he ain't paying attention.
He's not. And you know what? And it's unfair because I don't think he was expecting to have 3 people.
No,
say,
he was expecting.
Well, because I didn't even check.
When y'all said Jazzy, I said she might be on your side.
Yeah,
I didn't know what
but
side
we didn't
she
know
was
what
on.
side she was on. She was
But
like,
see,
I want
that's
to
the
talk
thing.
about
It's
it.
not about sides, right?
It's not.
At the end of the day,
Nah, fuck your side.
at the end of the day, we're talking about the culture, right? And how to improve it and what we're trying to put out there. I'm not trying to knock all of the, and I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna use this term. It could probably be. I probably won't say just Houston rappers because I've heard Dallas, I've heard San Antonio, El Paso, and they throw the word around. What I'm saying is that for a Mexican like me, whose first language was Spanish, who relates to the raza, it's kind of hard for me to be bobbing my head, and then I see a Mexican, and they're like, and this, and that, and this, and that, every other word, and I'm like, you
This
know,
is for my
like,
raza, but I'm a real ass
yeah,
nigga.
you're waving my flag. How are you representing me?
Yeah.
Don't throw the flag around if you're not representing me, because at the end of the day, when you are wearing and you're throwing around the flag, you need to full on understand what you're doing with it. The flag is sacred, you know. At least it is
Respect
to
it.
Yeah, to my people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My parents fought very hard to be here, so I want that to be the example. So when people are rapping, they should be rapping about the struggles. They should be rapping
They
about
are. They're
like,
rapping
the come
about
up.
their struggles, the things that they've seen, the things that they've been
but
through,
you
and
don't
that's
have to
their
be
culture.
using the N. Okay,
But
but
that's
you don't
what
have to
we
use
do
the
down
N-word
here.
to explain
That's
it.
what we do down
That
here. That's
doesn't
our
mean that it's
culture.
okay
I
because
didn't
one
say-
person
yes, that's-
condoned it. You got one black friend, and all of a sudden, well, they're cool with me.
But you can't judge somebody
You
either
know
for
what I mean?
saying.
like your one black friend co-signed on you. Okay, I went to school with a bunch of black people. Listen. I was the minority at my HBCU. You know, shout out to Texas Southern University and the whole soccer team. While I'm here, I'm giving a shout out. Hey, I'm a retired soccer player.
So what you were talking about, talking about their struggles, and this is something that I've discussed whenever died before, how we have, and I try to discuss it with somebody else that popped up into my DMs, but they didn't fully understand, so I just want to make it clear. When I was talking about how we have these Mexican rappers from Mexico that are popping right now, right?
Yeah.
They're still making hip hop. I get it. And again, we're not talking about get out of hip hop. That's not what we're saying.
No.
We're saying create your own lane so you can stand out. So these people make hip hop, talk about their struggles. They never use the N-word. They never talk about jewelry.
And
they never
they get
talk
no
about
credit.
swinging and banging.
Yep.
No, they are getting a lot of credit. That's what's
Who?
crazy. You got Hera MX, Santa Fe Clan, you got Davo.
Oh, yeah. You're talking about Mexicans from out there.
Mexican
Yeah.
Mexicans. And then they're coming to the States and they got tracks with Snoop Dogg. They got tracks with fucking Cypress Hill. It goes to show you the impact they're having, and they created their own lane. They didn't have to say, well, we ride across the border. I'm going to rap like, what was the people that Hate to Prove did a song with? They were big time rappers at the time.
I forget the name.
It was a Clan de Santa.
Yeah, Cartel de Santa.
Cartel de Santa. And they didn't say, well, that's how we are here. I'm gonna rap like Cartel de Santa. No. They said, we love hip hop. Let's create my own lane. And when people talk about me, they're not gonna say, oh, he is from Texas. Or for them, he is from from Santa. And that's what I mean.
I feel like the only time that Mexicans feel like real proud is when you throw like you have some corridos and they're like, oh yeah, you know, and they're getting drunk and now we're at the party and you know it's like yeah, but then you know when we're outside and then we're doing shows and all this stuff, you know, it's a whole different mix. Like it's like you're only proud in certain moments, you know, to be from that. We back to what you're saying, you know, no identity. It's like you talk about like Junior H, you know, and all them, like that's trap corrido. You know what I mean? They created trap corrido. You know, we didn't have trap corrido before, you know what I mean? Or Spanish trap. You know, that's also like it's like more like a mixture of like let's say Kevin Gates and Slim Thug all in one with the trap with the Spanish trap, you know? So it's like having those things, not just having to follow just that. If that formula doesn't work, use a different one. Make a new one.
Yeah.
That's all. That has to be done.
Does Travis Scott sound like he's from Houston?
He doesn't. And he makes music that's
and this
relatable.
is his culture. Houston, Texas.
I didn't even know he was from out here. I'm going to be real. You know what I mean?
I mean, artists.
He separated himself.
Artists, we create what we see.
I understand that, but
that's why we need more people.
Maybe we need to see more.
For
Yeah,
us.
and
We
that's
need
why
to get
that's
out.
why we need more media too.
We need to get out of Texas.
Showing the certain things, like that's the whole reason why we did this show, so that way
Correct.
we could speak on more
Things like
people.
these, yeah.
Things like this, and more rappers like Chop the Father, like Typeshit Jazzi. She was my first artist of the week. You know,
Shots out.
and we gotta give spotlights to these artists.
hey, hold on a second.
'Cause who else
I
is doing
actually
it?
had her at my first event here in Houston.
Was it your?
Yes, it was
Oh
my
my
very
God.
first event here in Houston.
I'm honored now.
Yeah, when I was with a different platform. Yeah, you were one of my artists.
So like
Okay,
the artists in Mexico, do they have media? Like how exactly?
Absolutely, they
Exactly.
got million followers. But listen, also it's like they understand the representation. You know what I mean? These people are throwing the flag around and they mean it. Look, like we're gonna go over there and we're gonna showcase for y'all and we're gonna represent y'all. We're going to a whole different country to represent y'all. That like this is what they're doing. This is their job. This is where they're going. So what are y'all doing? Who you representing? Because y'all are
Texas.
Texas. Okay, so then you might as well just throw the Texas flag around and stop throwing the Mexican flag around. Like straight up.
Dang, that's a good point. I never thought of it like that.
That's why you got me on the show today, though.
That's a good point though.
You know, I'm just saying because I feel offended whenever it's like you can do whatever you want to do. As far as your music goes, I'm not telling you what to write, what to spit, but what I'm saying is like you want me to buy your stuff and then I don't feel like I relate to that. Maybe I'm not your audience, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's okay because you know,
Yeah,
a different
you're not
artists
for
have
everybody.
different different artists have different audiences and you build and you create your own, but if you want a bigger one and you don't want to be capped, then you need to do something different. And throwing the flag around and then throwing the N-word around in the same time, nah.
That just makes you look lost and confused. And
Yeah. Like you don't have an identity.
Exactly.
So back to the point the conversation started with that, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the point that we need to get across to the people. Like either you pick one or the other. And see, there was a comment that I read that said, well, we're not trying to be like Cali. We're trying to be like Texas. Okay, and that's fine, but what are you representing? Okay, Texas flag, throw it up.
Yeah.
You ain't gotta do nothing else. Like
Yeah, that's
you
why
know
I'm
what
the
I mean?
Texas OG, because that's what I represent for Texas.
Yeah, but I ain't never seen you throw the flag around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you are OG. You stand up. You lead them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You talk to the youth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's the stuff that's being put on us as like older like influencers, you know what I mean? To be able to set the tone.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why we're doing things like this. That's
Yeah.
why I did Thirst Coast Visions during COVID. So that way artists were still performing and we're putting a spotlight on our people. Because that's my job as an
I feel
OG.
like that's what it is we need more people that want to lead.
Yeah.
We need more leaders.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like once we see someone start taking off and it's just like, oh, this, oh, that, about that. No, look at them. They are trying to represent you. They're trying to make a way for you and who you are,
Yep.
and you should embrace that.
And people try to tear each other down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to an A&R in the industry, and they were telling me, they're like, man, y'all Latinos, y'all could run shit, but y'all are
Run it.
always fighting amongst each
Yep.
other.
Yeah.
He was telling me about three
It's that
different
pride.
people
pride.
from Houston that should be clicked up, but they're all fighting amongst each other. And he's like, I don't get it.
But why?
Because of petty things.
Because of what?
Because of petty things.
Because they don't sit down and have these conversations.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
necessarily this, but they don't sit down and have the conversation.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
so what
They're
is?
not
Why
leading.
exactly don't you like me for
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
But I never said like
People
yes,
don't like confrontation.
Yeah.
But see, it's necessary to have confrontation, and people just don't know how to do it, right? Because
Yeah.
people don't know how to approach people.
They get too emotional.
You know, well, it's okay to be emotional. I feel like it's okay to be emotional. It's bad when you can't. It's actually really bad when you're ignoring your feelings. You know, it's better for you to vent about it, but for the other person to be receptive, like, hey, you know what? I want to talk to you. I want to talk about this. Ain't no guns involved. Ain't no nothing. Like, I just want to talk to you
Yeah.
about some stuff.
Like, it
People
doesn't
don't
have to
want
be
to talk.
what you say, it's how you say it.
Yeah,
And it-
approach is everything.
One conversation can fix a million
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
Facts. I done
Yeah,
seen
but
it.
see, you sometimes people don't want to be the ones. If you're too prideful to speak to me, you know what I'm saying, and I'm too egotistic to forgive you, you know what I'm saying, for whatever, you know. I mean, you got so much stuff there. Can we get rid of that? Can
And
we?
like you said,
can we work together?
it takes leaders.
You know, so it's like, I don't even want to mention this, but I'm going to. It's like I was so proud about the event, putting together the event. With shout out to Ron K and One Love Athena. I worked with them. Mind you, Ron K is African American. Athena is Mexican, and she is Greek. Correct. And then I'm full Mexican. So we all got together and we were able to bring out the culture for this day. And it was a peaceful event. You know, we didn't have
Dope event.
it had everything that I imagined. You know what I mean? They had the corn guy out there, the taco stand, you know, like we had it all. And everybody went home to their kids, to their families, and everything was safe. There was no drama. And then we hear of something else that happened somewhere else. It was supposed to be a proud day for all of them. I don't care if there's 15 events going on that day. I want them all to do well. You know what I mean? But I don't want to hear like, there was a rumble, there was this, there was. I hated to hear that. I wish I could help fix that. You know, I don't know how to help fix that, especially me being a transplant, being from California, and them tell me that I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I want to help you, but can I book y'all? I probably can book y'all on my events because you're going to bring that. You bring that stigma. And now you're bringing that fear into my other people who are there purely to just party and have a good time and then go home. You know what I mean? Now it's like, I don't know what you're going to bring.
I mean, because to be honest with you, there's times that I don't go to events just because I'm like, bro, every time these people come together, fights happen. I was like, I ain't trying to be in
Right.
We was just talking about this the other day. No, yes.
Yeah.
I was like, I missed an event, and I was like, I'm glad I didn't go because it was a whole thing, and it's like, come on. And it was actually a Mexican independent, right? It was
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
It was that day, and I seen like the videos going around, and then I seen people like, oh yeah, look at this, look at that, and I'm like, don't be proud of that. Be
Also
proud-
blame media for putting this
Dude,
stuff
that
out.
went viral.
It
For all the
did.
wrong reasons. Not because it was September 16th and we were united. It went viral because we were fighting.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like,
We gotta do
we don't know the
better.
issue, and I'm not trying to speak on the issue. We're talking about how it looks. You know what I'm saying? Appearance-wise.
Representation.
Yeah,
Again.
like, this is who's representing us. These are who the leaders of the Texas culture is at this moment.
And the messed up part is we were fighting each other.
Yeah, that's what I'm
We were
saying.
fighting each
That-
other.
it was as heartbreaking as seeing Zero and Trey go at it.
Yeah.
Because they're such a big of our culture. They're supposed to represent Texas. And then you see them go at it and it's like, but why? Couldn't you have just talked about this?
And I feel like that would have got way more respect, would have went way more viral, and would have got a lot more people to open their eyes to these type of perspectives and to have more of these conversations, because that is what is.
So
I don't feel like we have enough problem solvers. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's almost like, can we get a unit of peer mediators? You know what I mean? Like, can we start a unit of peer mediators? Like, that's really what we need. It's like, who can help bring and merge all of the different Latinos out here, you know, because it's not just Mexicans. I'm speaking Mexicans out here because it's like Tex-Mex is completely different from Cali-Mex. And I can only speak on that because I've experienced both out there and out here. And I've also ran into other Latinos out here, you know what I'm saying, who don't identify themselves with the Mexicans, who get mad if they say, oh, you're Mexican. No, I'm not a Mexican. And they're upset because they're called a Mexican, you know?
Salvadorian.
Yeah, but you know, it's like they want. I'm not mad at them because they want to be recognized as an El Salvadorian or a Nicaraguan because you're allowed to represent your flag. You know what I mean? And we just need to do it in a way where we can just showcase, talk about our struggles. Like, hey, man, I've been there too, man. It's actually more relatable when you talk about your struggle. Like, yeah, man, that happened to me too. Like, but we don't talk about that. In majority of the music right now, we talk about, I got hella guns, I'm strapped, I'm pulling up, it's me, my, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I hear.
That's all that is.
But I'd rather hear a song that's going to be talking about, you know, man, I remember when the lights were off, you know. I remember when, you know, my mom didn't have enough, like, to pack or give me money for lunch, you know.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear about you because makes it more relatable to me and my people. Like, yeah, man, I went through that too. I didn't have no sneakers back then. Dang, man, I remember I had to walk to school. You know, those are the things that you should be talking about. But I'm not going to tell an artist what to talk about. Correct. You know, I'm just telling you what it is that the music consists of now. Yeah. And that the conscious rappers, they get no credit.
So how do we make the artists understand that it's okay to represent Texas, but at the same time, let's create our own lane to where, you know, you mentioned Bo Bundy. We weren't discrediting Bo Bundy. It was more of, look at Bo Bundy. Look at the fact that he still gets to represent Texas, but in his own way.
I'm gonna bring up somebody who I think is going to be leading next. Here we got Bo Bundy. I also had Little Mexico on my show.
Yeah. Oh, Little Mexico. That's
okay. I want to mention him. Shout out to Little Mexico. He did a great job at my show. I got nothing but great feedback from all the vendors. He went and took the time, did a whole walkthrough, tagged all the vendors. I mean, it was dope. For them, they're fans. You know, they didn't get to be in the mix because the vending was on the other side. So for him to do a walkthrough and actually do that for them, that was big for them, you know, and tag them all. I want to say this. You know, we've known that Little Mexico has always been with Brick Wolfpack. Shout out to all them.
Yeah, she's a Wolfpack.
And so, but literally, Mexico and I have just talked about this, and I don't know if you guys heard his new single that just came out September 2nd.
Yeah, what's his name?
No, that one came out before this one. He actually has a new one that just came out.
No, I haven't heard the new one.
Vivir la vida, it's called.
Okay, I haven't heard that one then.
Yeah, you got to listen to that. But he is now transitioning over to the Junior H's, the Alemans, that is what he's doing because he already saw what it is over here. Yeah. And it's like, enough is enough. He understands what the struggle is and the representation. He has to lead by example. You know what I mean? And I've had several talks with him. You need to have him on the show, honestly. His album's coming out, so, you know, definitely have him on the show so that he can talk more about that. But I mentioned him because him and I have had great conversations about uniting the people together and him transitioning over to this, you know? So he has me super excited. And I listened to the song and it's great. He's doing stuff with a lot of people out there in Mexico también. So it's just like, oh, that's awesome. Somebody big here in Houston that's doing that, it's gonna create a whole influence that's gonna be what you're talking about. Like now you have Bo Bundy already came out, Little Mexico transferring over is gonna be like fantastic. That's another leader we will have, you know what I mean? to represent us. But that's what we need. We need stuff like that in order for us to be able to create more unity between the Latinos.
So-
because I can't be talking about never die all the time, you know,
Yeah.
and being Puerto Rican and all.
No, so I do want to get your full. I feel like we haven't given you the opportunity to give us your full
That's because I talk a lot.
point your full.
But that's what I'm known for.
Your full point of view of why you feel like we're wrong in the aspect of
Yeah.
this is.
No, I'm not saying
No,
y'all are
hold
wrong.
on. Let me
Okay,
finish.
all right.
We're wrong in the way of this is our culture is what I'm trying to say. Not that we're wrong with our opinion.
Yeah.
But that you may feel we're wrong because this is Texas, this is our culture, and this is what we represent. I just want to get your full point of view on the whole thing.
I mean, as an artist, we can only talk about what we see, right?
Correct.
So I've been in Texas my whole life. I mean, my mom passed when I was 10. They tried to teach me Spanish, and I didn't want to learn. I didn't need to learn. So when she passed, I never really got that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? I mean, of course, you can learn when you're older, but I mean, I didn't.
Probably harder, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot
Way harder.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder.
So, I mean, and I grew up in Texas. I'm half white. I mean, Texas is my culture. And just like you're saying, like Lil Mexico Hove, he's been to Mexico a lot, so he's seen a lot of that. So that's
He's
why.
actually from over there.
Yes.
And a lot of people don't know that because he was raised here.
But I mean, I agree. Like Lil Mexico Hove, Bo Bundy, people like that, I love what they're bringing in because
Yeah.
it's something different. But there's people that were born and raised here in Texas and have never seen anything else. So that is our culture. That is what we talk about because that's what we see. That's what we know.
Right.
And the thing is we gotta keep on getting more media presence for these artists so they can get bigger.
We need to start having more of these conversations.
Yeah,
Definitely.
facts, and more unity, and quit fighting amongst each other over petty shit or just trying to discredit. Like SPM isn't the only person that's came out of Texas. Lifestyle, and then of course they went to prison.
I
There's
want to
GT
say,
Garza.
Yeah, GT's. I feel
Man,
like GT's
he's doing an
underrated.
amazing job.
He's super underrated. I feel like he is. Like that song that he did, man, this is what you get when you fuck with the Mexican. I felt that shit to the
Yeah.
core. I was like, I don't know if I can cuss or not, but I already did.
No, you can.
But also listen to Doe Man. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
You know
That's
what I mean?
another one that
Yeah,
is
that
overlooked.
underrated. You know, for the same reason. Like Houston don't support them. They don't. They're gonna go and mess with somebody else before they mess with those. They ain't gonna book them or none of that stuff. You know.
Let me get y'all's opinion on this, because I said this in a comment on TikTok, and oh boy, like that dude said, I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked. I got cooked on them comments. So they were talking about how, they're never, we talked about how there will never be another Mexican like SPM because the support is not there like it was back in the early 2000s, late 90s. And then somebody said, well, there's nobody as good as him. And I was like, to be honest, lyrically, Doman surpassed him.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Like, not even close. Ain't nothing. And bro, I love SPM. I grew up on SPM. I know every SPM song word by word.
Did you hear his new freestyle that he just dropped yesterday
For
or
the
the day
promo
before
that
yesterday?
who he's talking about?
He
Doman?
rapped over. Yeah, he rapped
Okay,
over
yeah.
the Fat Joe song. Even Fat Joe like that. He posted it and he was like, because I had put him on my. I'm like, man, y'all go, support the homie. You know what I mean? Because literally, I didn't even know him like that. To be honest with you, he came to the show on some humble stuff on the September 16th show that I had, just super humble, and just showed up out of nowhere. I was like, man, I wish I would have known, because I thought he was living in Cali still.
Yeah.
If I would have known, I would have tried booking him too, because he would have been another one that I would have put up there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like what he does, and we overlook these people. We need to stop doing that.
We got Coast, we got Lucky, we got so many talented artists, but why are these names not being brought up? Like, why does everybody just say SPM?
Because nobody has
Because
had that impact, I
we'd
guess.
rather ride a wave that's already there.
Yeah, we all gotta big each other up.
Yeah, exactly, and that's a big issue.
Well, you're skipping a generation. I feel
And
like
here's-
that generation is already what it was. It's now like my generation is like in between before getting to the real young generation, which is the Latinx.
And here's another thing that I feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, SPM was getting support from a lot of people, every race, every Mexican, it seemed like, because even though he was, dropping the N-word a lot, he did create his own lane, his own style in a way, right? It was very comical in a way. His punchlines were very different.
very storytelling.
And I was correct. And I think that the reason Lucky didn't again, after SPM, I was a huge fan of Lucky, but Lucky felt what we're calling now very Texas culture, where it wasn't as big anywhere else outside of Texas.
But it was also the timing too, because like I always talk about the dark ages. That's when all the CDs stopped selling and everything started going to the internet.
But you would think Lucky would have more opportunities.
As far as because I mean, and a lot of people are thugging for real. Lucky was thugging for real, so he was in and out the game a lot too. Like same thing with Lifestyle, same thing with Shut 'Em Down Records. A lot of our
Lifestyle was right after SPM.
a lot of our artists have either died, gone to jail, or just been in the streets. I mean, not saying that Cali hasn't, but I can't really speak on Cali rap because I don't listen to it. That's why SPM was so essential to me, because that's when I felt somebody. Like, I fuck with Frost and King Lil G, but besides that, I can't really name any Cali artists because I don't listen to that type of music because I don't feel it. But I listen to Texas artists because this is our culture. This is what I see. This is what I know.
Yeah. So you're going to do whatever's relatable.
Yeah.
But can you make music that's relatable, like, to the newer crowd, to the newer generation? Because I feel like I said, it goes back to the follow.
To me, I don't feel that's my job. That's why I support younger artists, because that's their job. Because I'm an older person.
It's the older generation that needs to teach our
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I'm managing and stuff like that.
How did I start the conversation? I said it was not condoned around my old G's to say the N-word because they told me when I come around there, I can't do that. They set the tone for me. I understood that when I come around the way, ain't none of that going down, bro, homie. And there's people here in Houston that, or not just in Houston, but here in Texas that can't stand under those words. Oh, I ain't gonna say essay. I ain't gonna say bro. I ain't gonna say homie. That sounds whack. Da da da. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I'm
saying
one of them. I don't say essay. But
Yeah.
I,
You don't have to, but
I've
you know the term, right?
But I've also stopped using the N-word.
Hey,
Because I'm neither one.
let me
You
tell
know
you
what I'm saying?
something.
I'm not an essay.
Thank you for bringing that
And
up.
I'm not
Look
black.
at him. He said he stopped using the word. You know that every artist that I deal with, that if they want to work with me, I am super big about that. Every artist that I booked on my show, I let them know that if they wanted to be on my show, that they needed to, and they had music that had that word prior to, it needed to be bleeped out in the mix. That's not what we doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's my show. If you don't want to be on it, you don't have to be on it. You want the opportunity, you want to be heard, cool. But you ain't coming around here.
Because
like
I was horrible with that word. Because again, when I came from Mexico, I was 4. Didn't know not one word in English, right? And then I grew up around a whole bunch of black folks. So when I started learning English, guess what words had to do with?
Yeah.
So that's all I knew. And then when I was like 23, 24, I was working at this factory, and I told the story in the other episode. And the guy was like, "Hey, hold on, man. Why you keep saying that word?"
Exactly.
And I was like, I told him the story. Hey, I came from Mexico. This is what I learned. He's like, you know what that word means to us, older
Right.
generation. Then he explained to me.
Was he African American?
Yeah.
Exactly.
And when he explained to me what it meant, it made me feel like, okay, that is fucked up. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
You know what I mean? And I stopped
Look,
using
it's
it.
not the same thing if it ends with the ER than with
Yeah.
the A. No, it's the same thing. It's the same thing, whatever, because you are not that. If they decide to be playing around like that, it's like if me and you have a relationship. I can play around all day, this and that. But if him and I don't have a relationship and we don't know each other like that, I can't play with him like that how I would play with you. It's the same thing. Why do you feel that it's okay to play with it like that? Don't play with it like
Yeah,
that.
because I also don't use vato. I don't use essay.
And you don't have to,
Correct.
right? You can
Because-
use that person's name.
Yeah.
It's like somebody got mad at me because I always say bro. Like, stop playing, bro. Stop playing, bro. Bro, 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 bro. You know, they're like, stop calling me that. You know what? Because you said that and because I know I feel very passionate
You're not a
about
bro.
that, I told them, I was like, you know what? I'm going to speak to you in Spanish because I think that it's easier. For the people that don't speak Spanish, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to put in effort. I'm going to be more mindful. You know what I mean? But are you willing to be mindful of other people's feelings? You know what I'm saying? No, a lot of people aren't.
No.
You know, so here we are. That's why we're here talking about this.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Welcome to the show.
Hey, so I'm glad we were able to talk about this. You know what I'm saying, and I hope people understand where we're trying to come from and whatnot. But before we wrap this up, you are managing artists, and you just told us how you put these events together and whatnot. Can you just talk to the listeners what you got coming up as far as events? What can we expect from Mexican Connected and all of the above?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. I think that I was due. What episode is this?
23.
23rd.
Oh, they gave me the Michael Jordan. There you go. Dang, I should have came for the 24 because I needed to be on that Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you were the Lakers.
That's what I grew up with, the Kobe Bryant. See, that's what I'm talking about. That was my generation. You know what I mean? Like, I grew up with him. Y'all grew up with Michael Jordan.
I love Jordans, but they're uncomfortable.
I've never bought a pair.
They're uncomfortable.
Yeah, here I am again talking shit. Sorry, Michael Jordan.
I never felt like I could wear that. My parents could never afford it. I'm gonna be honest with you, and I would never put them in that predicament to try to, the expensive shoes that I wear now, I buy them. You know what I mean? But I never put them in that predicament to make them feel bad, to be like, oh, you gotta buy me this shoe. I really want this shoe. Praying and
I'm being bullied at school. I need Jordans.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I was wearing K-Swiss and Cortez's back then. You know,
I
what
was
I'm saying?
on Chuck Taylor's all day.
Chucks too,
Taylor's
yeah.
was
Yeah.
my thing.
Exactly.
Still my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to wear Cortez a lot because I came from the Valley. You know what I'm saying? The Valley's a lot more Hispanic cultured at the time when I was over there. And that's how they dress, Dickies and...
Ben Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Dallas was like that a lot too. And like in the 90s and shit. We were wearing Dickies. I'm wearing Dickies right now.
Look at him.
You always dressed up with
Yeah.
the Dickies.
What
suit,
am I
yeah.
wearing today? And shout out to Hyde Park because that's what I'm wearing. You're not invited. And actually, this brand is, I believe Jacob is Mexican. So shout out to them and all their crew that are making it happen. Also, I wanted to thank you, and I wanted to thank Never Die too, because Never Die is one of them people that have showed me love since the beginning when I first got here, and he first met me in the music industry, and I really do appreciate him and the friendship that we have, not just as within the music industry, but we have a personal relationship, and I can call him and talk to him about like random things, you know what I mean?
And she's the reason why I managed, because of the conversation that we had.
Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah, so now he has a tough job. But hey, look at him. And now he got 2 under his belt. Double trouble.
You got any upcoming shows, Mexican Connected?
I do, but it's actually a private event that I am putting together. It is an album release for an artist that I just signed. So I don't know if I should say the name. Because technically, I'm not going to say the name. But I do have a private event that's going to be happening October 7th. I won't be dropping the location until 2 days before because it's a very exclusive event. So it will be open to his audience, and I'll post it on mine. So you guys look out for that. I do have the lipstick line, AD Cosmetics. So if y'all girls trying to get lit like me, shout out to my nail plug too. Be someone else. I love my nails because I don't know. Did you guys can we get a close up of these or
For real.
where the camera at? I got the Mexican color themed.
Right there.
Hold up. Can you see them? Or was that too fast?
Nah, you can see him.
Okay. I gotta give a shout
You can
out.
put him on that one. Put him on that one.
This one? Can you see him over there?
No, you gotta go more this way.
Here.
There you go, but you gotta show him on the camera.
Okay, forget about it.
You get it.
Forget about it. It's too much. But I do want to give a shout, and then shout out to my artist that I got. I don't know if y'all heard of Two Tone, but
Two-Tone.
yeah, if you haven't, you about to. We got a lot of new projects that are gonna be coming up. I got him working like a true Mexican. You feel me? So you'll be hearing a lot from Two Tone and stuff, and my new upcoming artist. He's all Spanish, and he's from Mexico. So I think that you guys are gonna love him. I can't wait till you guys see who it is.
I'm heavily tapped into the Spanish rap, so I'm gonna have to check him out.
It's gonna be Spanish trap.
Dope.
So it'll be something different, but I'm sure it's gonna kind of tap into like Spanish trap and corrido at the same time.
Yeah.
So I think that, and it's more my lane, because I'm not just in the music industry. I literally, I'm an activist for the culture. That's why I do a lot of this stuff, because I want to make sure that I put on for the raza.
Yeah.
You know, and when I wave the flag around, you know, I want to do it with pride, and I want to represent my people, represent my parents, and let it be something acceptable for them. Because at the end of the day, they did, you know, raise me with morals, values, and ethics. You know, shout out to my mommy and papi.
Shouts out to the original Mexican Connects.
Right, for real. But yeah, no, thank you so much for having me though, and I do appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'll keep you guys posted. Y'all go follow me. It's Mexican Connected. Check
Mexican.
it out. Pew, pew, pew.
Typeshit Jazzi. Talk to us. What you working on? What can we expect from you?
Okay, so we can expect 2 EPs. One is gonna be mine. I don't have a name for it yet, but I do have all the songs written, all ready to go, recorded. You know, I recently just started bringing out my brother, Big Ticket. This is my boy right here. Very talented artist. I do bring him a lot, around a lot to, you know, like our Mexican crowd here, and I be trying to take him to his people, but they love him. Am I too short now? Nah, but they love him, and we actually working on an EP as well. It's that is actually called Twin, and that one's almost done and ready to start recording. So
Camera, right? I'm leave it alone.
y'all can definitely tap into those. We're gonna be dropping some new music. Recently my project was taken down. My first project.
What the hell?
For real?
Only the scoop version's up.
I know, yeah. So that's someone can make some money, but okay, whatever. Yeah, nah, but it was just
Yo, I heard some stuff you dropped recently. I like that.
really like
Yeah.
which ones?
I don't know the name of it. I'm gonna be honest with you, but you just did a video not too long ago that
Okay.
you dropped.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
dope.
actually part of the project that was taken down.
I
So-
actually heard something else that other people I don't think had heard, because it was some behind the scenes footage that I get because, you know, I'm exclusive like that. I just like no, but the producer that did some stuff for you, he showed me something that he did. So
Yeah.
and the beat maker who gave you the beat.
Yes.
So that's how, you know.
Yeah. So most definitely, I got a lot of new stuff coming out. I was thinking about redropping my project, but I feel like, yeah, because trust me, that project took a lot of me, and I went through a whole bunch of shit, and I just poured my entire soul into that thing. But I feel like now I'm in a whole nother place, so I'm thinking about just leaving it, maybe drop a few singles off of there, but definitely got another project coming, definitely got 2 EPs coming, definitely doing more shows. Hopefully, you know, you can book type shit. I don't be using no words I don't need to be using.
Hey, girl. No, literally. And the whole style has changed too. I've been watching you, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm always watching out for the artists, because I'm like, you know, the whole A&R thing always got me like trying to see, oh, okay, who's
Yeah.
coming up, who's creating a little bit of a buzz out here. So definitely,
most definitely.
I'll have to have you for a show.
I'm trying. I'm working.
I'll invite you to
working.
that exclusive party that I'm gonna
Yes,
have.
invite me. I will
Yes.
come. I will definitely come. Whether I'm
Hey.
on it or not, I'm always there to support. Do you ask anybody? I don't care who. Somebody got to have some type of footage. If you got footage of me at your show or anybody's show, that you know, I'm the hype man for
Okay.
everybody. Okay, so let's start hyping some type shit up. Okay,
I'm gonna have to hook you up with Two-Tone then. You and Two-Tone gonna have to do something.
Let me know.
Do a
Let
project
me know.
together.
I'm open. I'm open right now. I just wanna work. That's my thing. Is I started doing this because I want to make an impact, especially for my people, because I felt the same way when I started.
Are both of your parents from Mexico?
My dad isn't from Mexico, but his entire family before him is.
So he's first generation here.
He's first generation.
And you're
here,
second?
But I actually am though first generation because my mom is Mexican. She's from Mexico. So I mean,
So
does that make
technically,
me
no,
first?
you're second.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, still.
Yeah,
You get it.
yeah, but you're still rooted.
Girl, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. My
You're-
mom don't
you're-
let me forget it either. Okay. I feel like I came fresh from the damn border
Yeah,
with that
I know,
lady.
right?
No, she don't let me forget it, and I don't want to forget it, and I don't want us to be forgotten either. When in 20 years from now, when we are talking about this,
You
shit,
gotta
like,
teach the kids.
Exactly, most definitely, and that's the important part is the younger. That's who's gonna bring us, continue with us. So we need to be with the youth, man. Let's go.
Let's go.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
Jazzy, you gotta put that Project Bully back out.
Everybody keeps
Don't say you ain't gonna put it back out. That gotta be back out. That project hard.
I know. You know what? It wasn't even supposed to be called Project Bully, honestly. It was supposed to be word of mouth. Because I don't know if you listen to... I know you
I like your titles. Okay.
Well, it's because I thought about it and I was like, I want it to be called word of mouth because I was a new artist. Nobody really knew me like that. Before I stepped in, my kid's dad was making music. And everybody knew me as, oh, that's his baby mom. But nobody knew that I had this talent. And this is something I've always wanted to do. So when I thought word of mouth, I was like, if you listen, and I know you listen to my whole project.
Yeah.
But if you listen to my entire project, I'm very diverse. I
Yeah.
can sing. I can rap. I can anything. I can do it in Spanish, too. I have a song actually out right now with Simmery. He's out in, I want to say Arizona right now. I think that's where he's at. But, yeah, I got a Spanish song coming.
Man, I'm trying to hear more of that.
No, honestly.
Yeah.
And it's coming. Trust me. I'm working. It's coming.
Yeah.
Just
I've been trying
be
to
patient with me.
Yeah, no, for real. I be trying to encourage a lot of the artists that want to work with me. I encourage them to do either a bilingual track for me or a full on project in Spanish.
Well, listen to Una Llamada, Typeshit Jazzi featuring Simri. That, oh my God, it's everything.
I'm really gonna listen to it.
I was very proud of it actually.
That dropped in August, right? At the end of August.
Yeah, it did. It just actually just dropped. So it's called Una Llamada. But yeah, the first person I showed it to as soon as my engineer airdropped it to me, I was like, Mom, check this out. But my mom was like, I'm so proud of you and this and that. And that's really what I do it for. Like my people.
Yeah.
My people, for sure.
Shouts out to Mom. Hey, well, once again, I want to say I appreciate you guys for stopping by. I appreciate you guys for making time to sit down and have these conversations.
Hey, if I end up getting hate mail tomorrow morning, yeah, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Should I send it to you? Forward it to you?
So the way I deal with stuff, anything
Never die.
anything that seems too overwhelming, I'm like, holla at Jason.
Yeah.
Holla never die.
Everybody hollers at me.
No, we have some controversy
Because I
over
don't
here.
give a fuck.
How about if you get some hate mail, come to the show. Come talk about it.
No,
Come
for
talk
real.
about it.
Like,
Nah, we
Let's
ain't
talk
going
about
by
it.
there, but
no, right. Everybody is not invited.
you gotta have some real shit to say to be invited on this show.
No, for real. And it has to be something that is gonna motivate our
Yeah.
people. You know
Facts.
what I mean?
It has to be impactful.
That's
So-
what we
Yeah.
want to do.
So once again, appreciate you guys.
Let's do another collab.
Wrapping
Hey, let's
up.
do that project.
Episode 22, I'm going to show it to you right after
For
this. Episode 23, actually. Texas Underground Radar. I'm your host, JVaz.
Never die.
Let's go.
Texas motherfucker, Texas motherfucker, Texas motherfucker. Texas motherfucker.